Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We may be looking at a major hurricane striking the U.S. mainland within the next 48 hours. As we come on the air, here's what forecasters are watching. What is right now Tropical Storm Helene is organizing and gaining strength, likely to reach hurricane status by tomorrow before making landfall in Florida sometime Thursday evening, potentially as a Category 3 hurricane. Helene forecasted to bring drenching rains and storm surge as high as 15 feet. Hurricane and storm surge alerts are already posted along the entire west coast of Florida, and residents are being urged to finish their preparations. We'll show you some of those preparations in a moment, but first we turn to Bill Cairns for the latest storm track. And Bill, how does it all time out?
Lester, 48 hours from now, we expect a major hurricane landfall with an impressive storm surge, dangerous winds, and, of course, all the rain that's going to come with it. The storm is still organizing. Right now, it's just a tropical storm. By tomorrow morning, near Cancun, possibly a Category 1 hurricane. Then it's over very warm water for about 36 hours. That's when we could have rapid intensification. That's when the Hurricane Center has it paralleling the west coast of Florida on Thursday and making landfall about 9 p.m. somewhere south of Tallahassee. Then Friday, traveling up through Georgia and raining itself out in the southern Appalachians. As far as the storm goes, don't focus on the cone. This storm is huge. It's about 400-mile wide tropical storm force winds well away from the center. We're going to have intense impacts, and also we're going to have storm surge problems, as you mentioned, up to 15 feet.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. Marissa Parra is in Tampa for us tonight. Marissa, a state of emergency is in effect there and in most of Florida, in fact.
Lester, that's right, and that is why we are seeing preparations days ahead of landfall. Right next to me, on the right of me, this is an almost 10-foot barrier. It's called an aqua fence, and this is what is expected to protect Tampa General Hospital on the other side of the fence from the Tampa Bay, just feet away from us. Now, where we are in Tampa, this is one of the counties, one of the at least 61 counties that has declared a state of emergency. That is most of the state of Florida. And as Bill just pointed out, the massive size of this storm, remember, it's not just those in the direct path. The biggest threat is often going to be the flooding and the storm surge, and this is why we are already seeing long lines at those sandbag distribution centers, at the gas station, school closures across the state. The message here, Lester, tonight is clear. Prepare now while you can.
Marissa Parra, thank you. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.